Hello and welcome, it's Chris from Christopher Holt Training, and welcome to this tutorial where I'm going to be talking about why I don't share workouts. And it sort of comes off the back of the tutorial I did about HIIT training workouts won't get you fitter. So in that tutorial I talked about sort of what fitness is, I talked about the type of people that are doing it, and I talked about how injuries manifest. And essentially I don't just throw people in on workouts before I educate them about the exercises that they're doing, about getting the correct technique. So when I'm working with people in a gym as a trainer, and I'm getting people to do workouts, I teach them how to do the exercises before I start loading on a lot of weight and a lot of intensity with regards to how fast that exercise is completed. What I also want them to be able to understand is if you're doing a big movement that requires multiple joints, let's just say knee, hip, shoulders, for example. So it involves those three joints. I want them to be able to complete that workout, and I want to be able to say, where on the wall, what muscles could you feel working? And they can say to me, I could feel my abdominals, my glutes, and my deltoids. Okay, good. You're able, whilst you're doing these movements, you're able to comprehend what your body's doing, or you're able to feel the muscles working. Also with the joints, could you feel where your knee was tracking? Could you notice that it was dropping in a little bit? Oh yeah, I could notice that later on in the set. Okay, great. That's something we need to work on. So these are the types of things that I'm trying to build into people, so that when I then throw a higher intensity workout or a higher intensity exercise on these people, when I throw in a prompt and I say knees out, chest up, hips back, engage your glutes, brace your abdominal wall, whatever it might be, they know what I'm talking about, and they can do it whilst they're performing the exercise at a higher intensity. The problem we get, and why I did the last tutorial, was for the simple reason most people don't have that, and HIIT workouts are high intense workouts, and people can't comprehend what their body's doing. If they are doing a squat during a high intense workout, they will bend their knees, they will possibly flex their hip, and their bum will go closer to the floor and then back up. That's the squat movement, but that's not the squat exercise. So that movement, if they've got their knees dropping in, their feet flat, or their arches flattening in their feet, their toes turning out, their back rounding, their shoulders rounding, their head poking up, that's a terrible position for the body to be in. And that's not something that's advantageous. And as I mentioned in the last tutorial about HIIT workouts not making you fitter, you will get a very good cardiovascular fitness, so your heart and lungs will get better, but that will be compromising your joints, because your joints, in a sense, the cardiovascular fitness will be going up, but the joint fitness will be going down. So it's at the expense of another thing. So again, you're not really getting fitter. This is why educating people about exercise and how to do exercise is, I believe, much more advantageous for the individual. Now, for me as a trainer, if I can tell people to do exercise, they're gonna follow me, they're gonna like my videos and all that kind of stuff, which is advantageous for me, but it's not advantageous for them. And as a fitness professional, I'm in the job of making them fitter. So in some respects, what's advantageous for them should be advantageous for me. So that's the perspective that I'm coming from when I'm talking about the tutorials that I'm sharing and the information that I'm sharing within these tutorials. It's to educate and upskill the individual on how to move, how to exercise, how to use your body, how to minimize your risk of injury, and how to maximize your risk of increasing your fitness, if that makes sense, and not at the expense of other things, because fitness, as I mentioned before, is made up of lots of components, and we need to be working on each of these components if we want a fit body. It's just at the moment, people don't know that, and therefore, if they don't know it, they will just follow what a fitness professional, what a celebrity is saying. So I'm trying to open the eyes to the individual of the information that's out there and give them a greater understanding about what health is, what fitness is, what exercise is, and how to perform exercise. So when you go into it, you're in a much better place to be able to get the most from it. So that essentially is why I don't sort of share a lot of workouts, because I don't want to throw people in at the deep end and leave them at a greater risk of injury. What I'd rather do is educate them about exercise, how to do it correctly, and give them a greater ability to minimise risk of injury and maximise fitness. And I know there's a lot of fitness professionals out there that sort of tout that, and they say this is what I do, but when you watch, like this is something that I would hear. Someone will come and talk to, oh, you have to go and, like certain personal trainer X, they're a great personal trainer. I'm like, okay, great. You'll go and sort of, I don't know, go to a gym where they work, observe their clients working, and it's like, well, their clients are in a terrible position. They're getting them to do shocking exercises that they aren't ready for. How are they a good trainer? And it is just their confidence, their ability to make people sweat, their ability to get them out of breath and just to have a good time exercising. That, in a sense, is the criteria that a client is looking for, or that a fitness enthusiast is looking for. They aren't necessarily looking for someone who can teach them how to exercise. But what happens is, and this always happened when I was teaching the qualifications, the level 2, the level 3, the level 4 qualifications, is when I would go through this information to prospective fitness professionals, is they would say, yeah, but what about such and such? But what about this exercise? But what about that exercise? Because I'm opening their eyes and opening their mind to a greater expanse of information. And then they're going, well, this exercise doesn't fit with that. Therefore, this exercise is bad. And they sort of work that out for themselves. And I just end up going, exactly. Because the information educates them. I'm just sharing the information, and then they get the realization in their head. It's like, oh, so everything I've been, or not everything, but a lot of what I've been doing isn't that effective for my health. I'm like, well, does it fit with this sort of criteria of fitness? Does it fit with this sort of progression of fitness through the ranks of being a beginner, intermediate, advanced? And they're like, well, no, it doesn't. Well, there's your answer. So you can start to see, when you see the landscape of health and fitness, you start to see that all these people, they're being thrown in at the deep end of the pool, and then in 2, 3, 4 months' time, wondering why they're coming back with an ache or a pain or an injury, and you're going, well, it's not the fault of your body, it's the fault of you doing the workout, or it's the fault of the professional getting you to do the workout without assessing or understanding what your body's capable of. So, what I'm trying to do is educate the public and professionals, because professionals watch these videos. So educate the public, the enthusiasts, the professionals about the greater landscape of health and fitness, the greater landscape of injury mechanisms and fitness mechanisms, if you want to call it that, to be able to sort of navigate this journey and choose the right exercise, because so many people aren't using exercises that are that effective, and professionals aren't sharing those exercises. And the simple matter of fact is, people just aren't educated. People aren't taking the time to educate their clients, their followers, themselves about exercise. They're just jumping on the bandwagon of what feels good and what gets the happy hormones flowing. Now, again, there's drawbacks to that, and there's sort of negative effects of that part of things as well. But again, that'll probably be for another tutorial. I suppose what it does is it when people get excited and happy with a workout and all that kind of stuff, it can make them sort of blind to the downsides of it, i.e. what I've been talking about, makes them complacent, makes them think they can do things that they can't necessarily do, and then they go about doing those things that they can't necessarily do, and problems start to occur in the way of aches, pains, injuries, so on and so forth. But that's there's a little bit more sort of depth and context to put around that to be able to explain it a little bit further. But that is in essence, sort of the basics of it. So yes, that's why I don't promote workouts and share workouts. What I'm sharing are education to be able to help people do exercise correctly. So thanks for watching. My name's Chris. I'll speak to you in a future video.